Hello, you're listening to the Banríon Show on Irish
Hello,
News.
this is the Banríon Show. This is Alastriona with Paul Golding. So, Paul, I've heard a lot about you, and I've seen a lot about you, and just interested in where and how you got to where you are and in court in Belfast. So tell me about, how did you feel this passion to actually, put your life and your children, I don't know whether you have children, but, put your life on hold and go after this?
Well, in my late teens, even before I left secondary school, I was very aware of what was happening, the trends that were happening within my own country, and I believe it's deep down in every human being to love their own country, to love their own people, to love their own nation. So I was very much increasingly disgusted by what was happening to Great Britain. Mass immigration, political correctness, the rise of radical Islam, all of these different problems. And I saw it all firsthand growing up, born and bred in London. So by the time I left secondary school, I decided to, do something about it. And I got involved with a political party and rose through the ranks very young. I've been around the European Parliament and with various MEPs. I've campaigned and stood in many elections. I've been an elected official myself. And in 2011, we decided that within Britain there was nothing really that was any political party, any political organisation that was doing a very good job offering the British people a political alternative to what's happening in the country. So we decided to launch Britain First.
Okay, so you were one of the first, and Jada. So you knew each other growing up, or was you met?
Jada, well, Britain started in 2011, and Jada came along in 2014. So it was quite a few years when Jada wasn't around, where we were slowly but surely building up support and getting our name recognised, and just engaging in activities to spread the word and gain recognition.
And how did you get that you're in Belfast now, that you're going to court in Belfast? Is it hate speech again? And what did you say that they're saying that you're hate speech, obviously against Islam?
Hate speech is just a euphemism. The actual it's a public order offence of using insulting words in public. Essentially, Jada and I got invited over to give speeches at a rally that was organised outside Belfast City Hall. It was entitled Northern Ireland Against Terrorism. It was in the wake of the Manchester suicide bombings where the children were killed by a Muslim terrorist. And we came over, we gave pretty reasonable speeches. We didn't call for violence, we didn't call for hate or revenge or anything like that. We just explained our position as it is. And we believe that this entire enterprise by PSNI and the PPS up in Northern Ireland is designed purely to try and scare off Britain First from establishing itself in Northern Ireland and to deter anyone else from speaking out against multiculturalism, mass immigration and radical Islam within Northern Ireland.
Absolutely. I think that's it for the whole of Ireland, not just Northern Ireland. But obviously
absolutely.
They have their hand in Northern Ireland so they can actually push that through. But I think it obviously came through from the British authorities. But I think it'd be the same down in the Republic as well. Like I think if anybody speaking out, they want this. And why do you think that your government is completely ignoring? They're saying that maybe up to 2 million children might have been gang raped in your country. And yes, there's nail bombs, and then they just keep going on about Russia. And why do you think your government is so, would rather do anything than deal with Islam? Which, I mean, I understand that maybe Brexit and they're doing deals with Saudi Arabia, so they want to push it up, and they don't want to deal with it because they've got Brexit and they've got to make their trade deals afterwards. Do you think it's that, or do you just think there's too much of a population, they've got too much influence in the United Kingdom that they really don't want to deal with it?
I think from the top to the bottom, the British establishment, the media and the political side of it is inherently root and bone left-wing, socialist, Marxist, liberal in outlook. And those types of people who dominate politics, dominate the media, they simply want mass immigration to continue. They want Britain to become, and Ireland to become completely multicultural, completely overrun with mass immigration. And they see through their rose-tinted glasses, they see Islam or Muslims as a peaceful, small minority that's unfairly being treated and labelled. So they're springing to its defence, even if it's the radical jihadi, extremist, Salafist types.
Absolutely. I see it in Republic of Ireland. I think we're probably, even as much as you feel your government is that, our government is 10 times more. I mean, there was one girl who was murdered in India, and Leo refused to meet her parents because she had a British passport, although he's half Indian and was born in the United Kingdom, and his sister has a British passport, but said he wasn't going to meet her parents. And then the real truth is he didn't want to meet her parents because it's throwing the light on what this culture is like, what they see and what they do, not necessarily the culture, but what Islam brings into a country, and it would bring light onto it. And she's from Donegal, which is on the Republic of the North, so it's Donegal. So a lot of them would have, one parent is born in the north and one parent might have been born in the south. It's already mixed up, that area. So it wasn't unusual she'd have a British passport. She more than likely has both. But the fact that he's used that is absolutely shocking when he himself, if that's where his parents met, was in United Kingdom. And his own sister and his nephews and nieces all have British passports. It's quite shocking. Our government is completely left it. That I think we're generally 20 years behind you. So like whatever was happening in your country 20 years ago, it's happening here. So that's why it's very interesting for me to see where you guys are, because it's a scary kind of thought. But
absolutely, and it's very important that your viewers and listeners realise that Britain First is not sectarian. We're obviously British, but we see the same sort of thing. I've been to places like Dundalk and Dublin, and I see exactly the same problems and the same people that are creating those problems as in London or Birmingham or elsewhere. We want to see the whole of the British Isles strong and independent and looking after its own people. That includes England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, even the Republic of Ireland. The Republic of Ireland at the moment is being overrun by mass immigration. Your politicians are all corrupt. You're in full to the EU, which is, it's exactly the same problems that we put up with in Britain.
Yeah.
And
at least the one thing I'd say about Britain, you've got one thing going that we don't have. You have at least politicians who have right-wing. We have Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. They're all the same party. They literally have the same. Sinn Féin used to have a little bit of a different tune, and they were for independence, republic, nationalism, but they're completely EU unionists. The same as Sinn Féin or Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. There's no difference, but at least you have
this is the reason why we despise Sinn Féin, purely because their policies and what they stand for and what they want is extreme left-wing. They want to see mass immigration, multiculturalism. They want to see the destruction of traditional values and nationalism. If you look at their policies, they are extreme left wing.
Oh, they can read that. Along with the rest, along with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, it's complete destruction of Ireland. Since Ireland, because Ireland voted no to Nice and Lisbon, and were made vote again. Now, the first time they voted no, they were told, okay, we'll vote again because we got the answer wrong, so we were made vote again. And we voted again, and they said, oh, too close to call. We'll do it a few years later. So 2008, we were made vote again on the Lisbon, and we voted no. So this time they said, okay, well, you know what, you keep getting the answer wrong. What we're going to do is give you a Dublin agreement, so you're going to come back and tell us. And actually, there was Nigel Farage who actually stood up for the Irish and said, this is ridiculous. They voted 3 times, and 3 times no. How many times do you want them to vote for? And at that stage, the EU were very clever. What they did was, they knew that the Irish at that stage were very pro being Irish. So what they did was all the books from the education, they had 18 years to turn around people. And believe me, they have done that from the education. My children's education is nothing like my education. We were told we were Celtic, we were Irish, this is with freedom, this is your nationality, this is who you are. My children have been told they're white and European. So they're not being told they're Irish. It's completely.
When I was at school, I remember having Christian assemblies, and I remember singing the national anthem, and that was in the early to mid 90s. All that's gone now. They're completely gone in the British education system. But this is what the left does. They infiltrate all the areas of society, like the media and education, that can change people's opinions, and they use those levers of power to brainwash the next generation. That's how they control society. But I would honestly like to see the day when you have an organisation emerging in the Republic, something along the lines of Ireland First, a kind of right-wing patriotic anti-immigration movement that offers.
I don't know what you call Exit. There's Exit was here. No, he's actually from Northern Ireland. He's a dairyman, Herman Kelly, and he's trying to launch Exit and his own party to break free, because it only makes sense that we break free from Britain. Our government is completely crazy. It's trying to hold us in, and it's trying to use Northern Ireland to keep the British in, which obviously is not going to work. but they don't care what effect it'll have on the general Irish people. Because after the last time we bailed out, they brought down 43% of Europe banking, the EU banking crisis, into Ireland. We have to pay, not just our children, but our grandchildren will be paying this off. And when England or the UK bails us out, but after this time, they will be bailing us out. There will be nobody. And the government doesn't care. It's an extreme left with what they want to do is try and force with the EU, they're letting the EU use them, to try and break the British into staying, which is absolutely a disgrace.
Of course, and if you look at the situation, 70% of Irish food exports come to Britain. Britain is Ireland's main export and market for their economy, far more than the EU is.
Oh, completely. It doesn't make sense.
British people are leaving the EU. I don't understand why the Irish people are not looking to for our exit. And
because they're not being told. So all the media is ran by this guy called Dennis O'Brien. So all the media, they're being told, oh, the British regret it, they didn't understand it, they were fed lies, they were this, that, they don't know what they're signing, they're going to change their minds. They're completely fed lies. The majority of Irish people do not realise that all the media, all the radio stations, all the newspapers, the TV is owned by Dennis O'Leary. They only get one voice. So they actually have no idea what's happening. They didn't even think that Brexit would happen. They didn't think Trump would happen because they literally have one voice. So this is very dangerous. That's why we're working for Irish News and ITV.ie. So we're bringing in a few different stations. That's the one that's on here. There's a few different ones here that we're bringing in. We also have Euro Wars as well. So there's this one man who's running them all to bring in a balance.
Absolutely. I can't understand personally when I look at, say, the Republican movement, all the blood that's been shed, all the loss of life, and all the struggles throughout even the centuries to gain Irish independence and Irish freedom, and then it's just sold down the river by transferring it all at the drop of a hat to the EU. Now Ireland is effectively subjected to an unelected, unaccountable bunch of bureaucrats based in Brussels. I do not understand it.
I don't understand it either, but it's absolutely, they're brainwashed. It's like even, 1916, we just celebrated that because it's been 100 years since the 1916, and it was all, fantastic. We got away from the British. This was great. We did this. We were amazing. But at the same time, they're handing over our country, our fish, our seas, our fisheries, everything to the EU. For nobody's they've absolutely gone against everything, to even our children, to bringing in abortion, which was a complete bullshit. Like, they brought it in under, health care, and completely told lies. There was 22 abortions that happened before the age, and they were for circumstances that were needed. Under, when a woman's life was in danger, or there was a severe, even for two that were suicidal, which I don't really agree with. But anyway, I don't agree with suicide is going to help you feel any better about, killing your child. But, then they use the excuse, well, they're travelling to United Kingdom. United Kingdom brought it in 60 years ago, and it was for cases that are needed. And they're also now looking at new ways. But it's just complete brainwashing of the Irish. Absolutely.
And it's not accidental either. It's the same thing that's happening to the British people and the Irish people. It's a deliberate plan to unravel and abolish and destroy our ancient nation states and our ancient peoples. It's a deliberate plan. It amounts, in my opinion, to genocide against the native inhabitants.
Oh, completely. That's what it is. It is absolutely genocide. We have 10,000 homeless in Ireland. 4,000 are children. People come in and they're being given house, food, cars straight away, and they're giving jobs. You drive around the Republic. The non-Irish are being put first. What we've been told is, Irish are just European, you've no identity. Actually, we don't even know whether the Celts came in, but the non-Irish are being told they're Irish. So you have Indians and Africans saying they're Irish, and it's like, no, you're not. I mean, it goes to a lot of people. It actually drives me mad. I'm like, okay, I'm Indigenous or Native Irish because this is ridiculous. Anybody who comes in now, you can buy passports in Ireland now, which is absolutely disgusting. So you can come in, and if you are here and you pay €1,000 or something, you can buy an Irish passport, which is absolutely a disgrace. It's complete taking away our identity, our culture, everything, and trying to wipe us out.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the socialist stroke Marxist plan for the whole of the Western world, to be honest. It's happening in North America, Europe, the British Isles, even Australia, etc. It's the same thing that's happening, and it's going to end in bloodshed, it's going to end in tears. And this is why we made speeches in Belfast, warning the people of Northern Ireland and Belfast on both sides of the peace walls But this is happening, and it's not going to end well. This is what they've got planned for you in the future. And we was all arrested, and we're all being prosecuted by the establishment up there in Belfast. And they're going to fight it all the way. They did it a few years back with an elderly Christian preacher called Pastor McConnell.
Oh yeah,
and
I remember him. Yeah.
Yeah, and when it actually went to court, the judge acquitted him, found him not guilty, and warned the police not to do anything like this again. But they are trying to bend the law to try and silence all resistance movement. We've seen that with the whole history of Ireland, with the struggles and so on. You can't suffocate and bully and persecute a genuine resistance movement that has public support. And what we're saying and what we're in public now is what people are on the street and in the cafes and in the pubs are saying to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, away from the gaze of the media. We're saying what people think. That's why we say we're the voice of the silent majority.
Absolutely, and I think more so in the United Kingdom. Ireland, when I was at the air exit, there was a few people, but they were fairly nervous. They're nervous about their jobs, they're nervous about their family, they're nervous about everything. They're in fear because the leftist government is so strong here that they will go after your job. They will go after, your children. They will come down on you. And it is fear and intimidation. They will do exactly what they've done to you in the United Kingdom. It is fear, and we're one step away. In fact, we're pretty much here already, and that's what they're going to do. You're saying things that they don't want you to hear because they want to strip away that there will be no colour of Ireland, that you won't be able to say, white, Indigenous, Irish are actually white, that they're actually multicultural, and that's what they really want. Like Dublin is no longer Irish. It's no longer, you would not see a Dubliner in there. It's gone completely. I'd say 70 to 80% are not even Irish, never mind Dubliners, which is pretty
I know, I've seen it myself. As an Englishman, sometimes I've travelled from Northern Ireland across the border through South Armagh into Dundalk, and Dundalk was full of Africans, and then I went down to Dublin, and it was just the same, and I was thinking, what the heck, what's going on here? It's exactly the same as what's happening in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Bradford, all these different British towns. And it's all deliberate. The establishment are doing this deliberately to the Irish people, to the British people. We call it the Great Replacement. We are being replaced.
Completely. That is absolutely what's happening. I wanted to ask you as well, I've heard that you're anti-Irish. Now, I know I actually never believe that, but I have to ask you that question, that you're anti-Irish and that you're racist against everybody, including the Irish, and you hate the Irish. What is your feeling on that? What is your feeling on the nationalists in Ireland and the Republic? Did you know much about Ireland? Probably very little, I would imagine.
Of course, yeah. And any claim that we're anti-Irish or anti-Catholic is total nonsense. I was raised a Protestant Church of England. Jada Franson, my deputy leader of Britain First, is Irish Catholic. All her family are Irish.
She's Dublin. I heard a rumour she was from Dublin. Her family.
She's not from. No, she's London born and bred, but all her family are from Cork. And yeah, she's all her grandmothers and grandfathers are all from Cork. And it's never been a problem. There's 5 million Irish people of Irish origin in England alone. That's more than I believe that there is in Ireland.
Yes, so, I would believe that was strange.
Not at all. We've got Irish Catholic activists and supporters and donors in Northern Ireland, and of course they have to be careful because they will face community pressure because of just the way it is up in the north in Northern Ireland. They have to kind of keep their heads down, etc., because they will come under pressure in their communities from the usual suspects.
Yeah,
especially
it's the same down here. They don't like it at all when you're kind of because because of my conversations I've had. Oh, you should join the DUP, and I'm like, I'd absolutely have more in common with them. They're anti-killing babies. Why not? I don't think why not. I'd actually be quite happy to join their party. At least it's the only party that doesn't agree with it because it's just.
But I look through the membership list that we've got up here in Northern Ireland, and I see a lot of Irish names. Not traditional Protestant names, Protestant families, but also a lot of unmistakable Irish names like Doherty and so on. So it's not a problem. We're not interested in that. Our goal, even up here in Britain First, Northern Ireland, is to unite everyone who's concerned, regardless of background. Everyone who's concerned about mass immigration, radical Islam, and the demographic catastrophe that's about to hit us, and political correctness and left-wing policies. Anyone from whatever background who's opposed to these things that Britain First is opposed to, then they're welcome to join us and stand shoulder to shoulder with us.
Would you be interested in bringing down and helping Irish to do something like, obviously it couldn't go Britain first, like it would have to be Ireland first. Would you be interested in helping people set up or doing something like that?
Absolutely. If there's people in the Republic, obviously for the last year or so, Britain First has been very preoccupied. I've been to prison, Jada's been to prison, we've had a several trials, got this trial in bed. We've been very, very busy. If there is patriots, Irish patriots in the Republic that want to set up an island first, along the same lines as we have in Britain first, then absolutely I will give them all my time and every possible assistance we possibly could grant. Absolutely, 100%.
Fantastic. Listen, thank you so much, and thank you for your time and speaking out, because we all need to know the truth about what's going on, and because it is crazy, and I really do have fear for Ireland.
This is Irish News Radio. You can also email us at news@irishnews.net for further information what's happening around the country with a difference. You can also email us at news@irishnews.net with information and what's happening in your community and things that you may be concerned about, new residents in your area, where there may be some drug pushing and things like that. We are getting very concerned about our community and what's happening in different parts of the country. So do please email us at news@irishnews.net. Thank you.